I got some verses. So I got some verses, and like for one, so historians pretty much all historians agree that Jesus existed and he was crucified and stuff like that. We also got evidence like prophecies in the Bible, such as what happened to the Jews. All of that was prophesied in the Bible. All that stuff that happened in World War II with the Jews, that was prophesied. As well as, stuff like the earth being round, stuff about blood and stuff like that. Plenty of prophecy. I got to find the exact verses real quick. But yeah, so, on top of that, I don't know. Oh yeah, you didn't see my dinosaur argument. So there's actually new evidence about dinosaurs that was recently discovered that actually debunks the previously thought age of like how long the Earth was around. So scientists thought it was around like way longer than what it was, but it was actually tissue found in the fossils of dinosaurs, proving that the Earth is actually a lot younger than what scientists previously thought. So the Earth is actually somewhere around 6,000 years old, and how long they thought it was. So yeah, even so, scientists, they even got debunked on that. So basically, what ends up happening is scientists have y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so scientists have this basically happened throughout all the history. Scientists have a thing that they claim back during Christopher Columbus's time. They thought it was flat. They thought the Earth was flat. Guess what? It got debunked. But guess what? In the Bible, it already said the Earth was round before they even found out it was round. This is the same thing that happened with the dinosaurs. So basically, scientists are discovering the things that was already revealed in the Bible like thousands of years later. That's exactly what's going on. And then not only do you have the scientific evidence that proves that the Bible is true, you also have the fact that all historians agree that Jesus was crucified, that he was a real human being. In fact, BC and AD, that's based on Jesus Christ. So obviously all historians already know that. Before Christ, those terms are based on Jesus, and those are the official terms that people use for this time, for this stuff in general. So like, okay, let me just recap. So historical evidence, scientific evidence, and prophetic evidence. So there's, and on top of that, well, basically, yeah, in general, there's really no evidence that can disprove it. On top of that, the whole theory of evolution is dumb, because not only the stuff with the dinosaurs, which I already talked about, but also the fact that monkeys, we still have apes around today. So if humans evolved from apes, it would make no sense for why apes are still here, why they wouldn't be evolving into humans, evolving into a superior life form. In fact, no animal is actually evolving into another so-called species. And oh yeah, this is my problem with the vegan thing, because like I said, I'm a dietary vegan, only for health reasons. And as far as the whole, I hear a common argument, just like he said. And by the way, the video that was, because you, I forgot, Daniel, in his video, what was the name of this video? Because you actually said something that was, you contradicted yourself. So let me go back and look at this video real quick. It's titled "Addressing the Most Offensive Type of Vegan Activism." So in that video, you said that it's a difference between equating and comparing. And you said you weren't equating animals to humans. And then you literally said in the video that humans are animals, which they aren't. We aren't animals. We're a completely different life form created in the image of God, which is why it's actually sinful and evil to kill a human being. And it's not wrong to kill an animal, because we are created in the image of God. That's why you can't kill humans, and you can kill animals. And you can't kill animals for food and stuff like that. Now, so I've already went over most of that. What was the? Oh yes. So the argument, the problem that I have with the moral, we already kind of got into the moral issue I have with the vegan argument, but something that a lot of vegans say is, well, actually, I think that's kind of forgot which. Yeah, but the whole idea that that we're all animals, which is wrong. We're not animals. That's actually insulting if you're calling a human being an animal, because you're basically. It's a huge insult. It's a huge insult. So, and in fact, and you talk about slavery in that video. In fact, that's what the United States was treating so-called African Americans like. They was treating them like animals, and they actually called them animals. That's why it's insulting to a lot of people. So, anyways, what other things I have to say? Oh yeah, and DNA, that's actually a code, a genetic code. Codes don't make themselves. They don't put themselves together. Just like nothing just makes itself yet. So anybody who believes in evolution, they're essentially believing in false magic. It's actually pseudoscience. Evolution is pseudoscience, false science. It's like you're believing in magic. You think it was randomly a Big Bang. Where did the Big Bang come from? Nobody wants to answer that question. On top of that, so you think that everybody came from a rock. You think everything came from an explosion, and then, stuff was so if everything is random, it doesn't make sense. And as a matter of fact, David Wood, another YouTuber, he got some great content on this, debunking this whole evolution idea. But the whole idea that everything can just happen by chance makes literally no sense, especially when we have DNA, which is actually a genetic code, meaning something intelligent had to put that together. So things that aren't intelligent can't. So essentially, nothing can't create everything. That's a scientific impossibility. That's like saying, out of nowhere, something just popped up. Like, for example, a TV that just poofed into existence. That's magic. It's not real. Somebody put that together. Somebody built that TV, just like somebody put us together and this entire universe together. We were all created. So, and yeah, what's the thing? Oh yeah, so as far as the whole, something that doesn't have intelligence can't create things that do have intelligence. So we have intelligence as human beings. Otherwise, if you think we didn't have intelligence, then you have a huge problem in terms of morals, a huge problem. Atheists have a huge problem when it comes to morality, because if there's no God, that means there's no moral standard, which means that everything is just based on your opinion. So if somebody thinks it's okay to kill somebody, then in their opinion, which is all they're going off of, because if there's no God, there's no moral standard, then they could, justify that. Yeah, so that's essentially my thing about it. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Danny, did you want to say anything?
I was just looking for an argument for God. You said a lot of things there.
I provided several arguments.
Well,
I provided several.
If the argument wasn't in the form of premises and a conclusion, then I'm not exactly sure what was provided. You've provided some evidence. I'm agnostic on some of the evidence, some of the things you're claiming as evidence. But the thing is, I can grant you for the sake of argument that these things are considered evidence, right? The Bible is a book that's consisted of many, many propositions, and you've only provided evidence for a subset of the total propositions, maybe 5, right? But the thing is, the Bible makes thousands of claims, thousands of propositions, and each of those propositions needs to be substantiated. Just because we can demonstrate particular premises or we can substantiate particular propositions within the Bible doesn't mean the Bible in and of itself has been substantiated, right? It could be the case that the Bible is 10% accurate, right? Where 10% of its information is true, right? It's in accordance with reality, and the other 90% you can throw out the fucking window, right? It's compatible. Like what you've just demonstrated is compatible with that sort of hypothesis, right? Not really. Now the thing is, the only thing that I need to do to say that the Bible is not 100% accurate, right, is to falsify God. Would you agree with that?
I've already proven that. Wait, how would you falsify him? What do you mean?
You can prove him false by contradiction.
No, you can't. I've already provided evidence that nothing can exist without a creator, anyways.
Wait, hold on. That is a claim. You're going to have to actually provide substantiation. Wait, you have to provide substantiation from that claim. And with respect to quantum physics, there are particular particles that can actually come in and out of existence, right? Which actually falsifies that premise. I believe it's called the God particle or something.
No, that's wrong. So first off,
that's wrong.
So wait. So first of all, DNA can't accidentally create itself. You know, it's a genetic code, right? Codes don't. They can't.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna try to moderate this because I feel like there should be. So, King Anima, when you say that something's wrong, right? That's a claim, and presumably, yes, it is a claim. And Ruxter, did you want to ask him to substantiate the claim that what you just said was wrong?
Yeah, he's saying that. What are you saying, that something can't come from nothing? Is that the claim?
I think the notion that the God particle is false. That's what was being claimed. That was wrong. He said that after you mentioned the God particle, and the particles which can come in and out of existence. So he said it was wrong.
Okay, what's the
Yeah.
I mean, can you give me some type of like independent attestation for it?
Hello?
I said, wait, so, no, I was saying that I've already proven that you can't say, whatever you said didn't make sense because I've already proven that things can't create itself. That's magic. Things can't create itself. Things don't come into existence by itself. That's what I was saying.
Things don't come into existence, but so are you saying things can't come from nothing, right? That's essentially what you're saying?
Exactly. It's a scientific impossibility.
It's a scientific impossibility?
Yes.
Are you sure? Can you provide an argument?
Let me ask you this question. When have you ever seen something proof? When have you ever seen something proof into existence out of nothing?
But I will answer this question. However, just because I haven't observed something, it doesn't mean that it does not exist. You can agree with that, right? Because your God would fall folly to that sort of reasoning. Do you understand that?
Wait, hold on. No, because I've seen evidence for God. Yeah, you don't know what I've seen. Or have you seen everything I've seen? No, so you don't know what I've seen.
I mean, I personally haven't seen God.
He was talking about himself, not you.
Yeah, with respect to that reasoning, like with respect to that particular reasoning, therefore I could conclude that God does not exist. But that's fallacious.
I would argue. I will argue that.
Wait, that's fallacious reasoning.
Wait, hold on. Let me. So look, hold on. So first off. Christians have the Christians have the Holy Spirit inside of us, which is the Spirit of God. So technically, if you've actually met a Christian, you've actually seen God in a way. And plus we're on top of that. What was the next?
What's the argument for God's existence?
That's what I wanted to just jump to, because like this all comes back to that in the end, right?
I'm just gonna go for the jugular. What's the argument for God's existence? Like, if you could you give me premises and a conclusion? Are you familiar with a syllogism?
So let me summarize what I did. I came in here, I listed off a bunch of facts. I debunked evolution with the whole dinosaur thing, which you didn't even address. I've proven that things don't prove into existence out of nothing, which you can't refute.
You haven't actually proven that. You've actually just claimed it, right? And anything asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So that's what I'm going to do. I can agree with the notion that Jesus was a person and died on the cross and everything, right? But that's only one proposition, right? The only proposition, right, that I'm lending you credence is the proposition that Jesus existed. However, there's thousands of claims in the Bible, including the claim that God exists, right? That doesn't establish the existence of God. That just establishes that there's a person called Jesus who died on the cross. That's it. When you go from there and you go, well, if there is someone named Jesus, he died on a cross, therefore God exists, that's called a non sequitur. It doesn't logically follow, because that sort of observation is consistent with a worldview that doesn't have God's existence. Because it could be the case that it could be the case that there was a man called Jesus Christ who died on the cross and God did not exist, right? And that's not a contradiction.
Wait, hold on. So you're very unfamiliar with a lot of scientific discoveries, I can see. So first off, a lot of the miracles in the Bible. Hold on. A lot of the miracles in the Bible have been proven to be accurate, such as Moses. I don't care. Yeah.
That doesn't establish that God exists.
Damn.
Let me paint this might help you a little bit. Are you familiar with Spider-Man?
Yeah.
So you know how like in Spider-Man in the comics, it's based in like New York City, right?
I've seen some of the movies, yeah.
Well, like in the comics, it's based in New York City. It's based on actual landmarks and actual places that exist in the actual world, right? But it doesn't mean that all the events that happen in the Spider-Man comic is true, correct?
Bro, you're talking about a fictional universe, so where you?
Is that a yes? Or, like correct? Am I correct?
Your analogy isn't working because you're talking about a fictional universe, and I'm talking about reality.
Well, the analogy is working because there is a common component which I'm identifying, right? Is that in the common component being that just because you can identify particular things that are correct in the Bible doesn't necessarily entail that the Bible in and of itself is correct. And all the claims and propositions that consist of the Bible, just in the same way that there might be things in a Spider-Man comic that are correct, but it doesn't mean the entire Spider-Man comic is correct. It's completely like analogous with like reality.
Right. First of all, so I see two problems here. First of all, you're trying to make an analogy with the fictional universe when I'm talking about reality. That's the first problem I see. Now, the second problem is I see that you literally ignored what I said earlier when I said that you don't necessarily need the Bible to prove God exists. You pretty much ignored that. My guy, you're either not tracking or you're just being intentionally dishonest, right? The reason why I brought up the Spider-Man analogy, right, is to identify a common property within you identifying some things in the Bible as being true and me identifying some things in a Spider-Man comic to be true, right? But just because we can identify some things in a book to be true doesn't mean that every other thing inside that book is true. You can agree with that, right? Just the problem with the fiction analogy. Hold on, look. The problem with it is it's all fictional. Yes or no? I've been very charitable, and I've been asking you a lot of fucking questions, and I haven't been giving answers for them, and I've been letting it slide. So, is the statement that I just made just because you can identify particular things in a book to be true does not mean that the book in its entirety is true? Do you agree with that conception? Do you agree with that notion? Yes or no?
Please just give a yes or no.
Like, and that's not even controversial. Like, because if you say no, you're so fucked. That means all of literature is true at the same time, and your worldview is going to just fucking collapse.
Wait, hold on, no. The problem is you're using a fictional book.
Yeah.
So I can say everything. Hold on, listen to Martin.
Wait. Stop. You're assuming your book is not fictional. You're assuming.
Wait, hold on.
Hey. Hold on. Answer the question.
Dude,
fuck off. I don't want anything to do with you. Don't ever speak to me again. You're a fucking piece of shit.
Even vegans don't get your weird, stupid wannabe sense of irony here. Who's your audience? Nobody gets these dumb jokes. Dude,